When we think about truly harmful things, we don't necessarily think about watercolor, but in this video today, I wanted to share with you 5 different things, habits that I feel are not helping your watercolor journey, so harmful. And those are things that I'm hoping can just inspire you to think differently through, because I want you to be able to let go of that, to break through the watercolor block if you have any yourself. Oh no, what's this? Oh well. Sometimes I have stains. Okay. And today we're going to be painting some watercolor florals as we are thinking and talking about this discussion. So let's get to it. Alrighty guys, we are going to spray down our palette. Still a little wet from the last painting I did, but still a little dry. We are going to use this masking tape to create a nice little border for our painting, which I love to do. And then one thing I love to do with flowers is just, leave a little space, paint a little flower over the tape so that you only have part of the flower showing when you take off the tape, and it's just kind of artsy and fun. I don't know. I am using paper today that is not 100% clean, like it has some stains and marks. And I want to show you how important it is just to use what you have, because we're going to cover things up with splatter and with flowers, and it's going to be great. So if you are experiencing any type of paper like this, just like me, know that it's fine. You're not alone. We're going to make the best of what we have. And we're just going to do some really beautiful light and billowy flowers. So these are brushes from my collection. This is a number 6 round. This is a number 1 quill. It's got a really nice point on it, but I'd use like a number 10 round or 12 if you have it. And I don't need this guy. What's he doing there? So I've got my medium 100% cotton watercolor paper. It's a 7x10, but you can use a larger size or a smaller size. And of course the paper is linked in the description. So I'm going to start by wetting my larger brush, and we're going to start making some really light petal shapes. So nice runny paint here. We'll add in some really fun texture and details over the top when we are done. So we start light so that we can then go in later and add in texture. So see, I'm swiping from the outside in to create a very swoopy petal. That's just kind of how I call it these days, swoopy. So kind of swooping in like that. If you want to make it bigger, you can. It's a pretty large flower, I think, in the middle. And see how I use the side of the brush, I can actually round up those petals a little bit more. And then you can go back and forth if you want to, just kind of swooping it in. It's a really great practice. I encourage you to do it, swooping in. And of course, today we're having our conversation about just things that are harmful, some habits to quit so that you can thrive in watercolor. And I'm excited to share those things with you. I hope that something will resonate with you. I'm getting some really runny watercolor paint here, some nice light pink. And, take or leave it, whatever makes sense for you. If this video also is too fast, you can always pause and catch up with me. You can go on half time, so it's super slow. Whatever floats your boat is great. All right, so these are just kind of layered on each other. I'm going to do another one over here, a little side facing. So, the first thing I would say is just don't be afraid. This is a harmful habit. I'm going to do a side facing flower here. That's keeping you from really thriving, because if you're afraid, it means you actually feel anxiety. If you're feeling anxious, that means that you're not relaxing your body and your brain. And as I'm getting some pink and I'm getting some orange. And so it's important to take that deep breath and remind yourself it's just a painting. We've got a little more orange here, kind of a corally color. If I add more orange, it'll be more peachy. Could do that. So remind yourself this is just, it's playful, it's for practice, and it's not like you're going to go and sell this on Etsy, right? I mean, that's not the point. You're here because you want to learn, not because you're trying to make a whole bunch of money. Maybe you are eventually, right? But everyone knows that it takes a lot of time to get to that space. So you are here to learn little by little the brush strokes, the swoopiness. And my biggest tip with that is just don't be afraid. Fear is for danger, and there's no danger here, except the danger that you might have fun. I had to say it. So I'm doing a lot of side-facing flowers, as you can see. I want to do another one that's full-facing right here. So just grabbing some paint, swooping in like that. And the next thing, the number 2, is I want to tell you, just don't sweat the small stuff. Small stuff, by that I mean mistakes, right? There's nothing life-threatening when you make a mistake in watercolor. It's only learning. You can decide, you know what? I'm going to learn from this. See how I'm just kind of going, and I dipped into some yellow, and now we've got different colors. That's really pretty. You can actually just go in there and just wet on wet, add in some more yellow. That's really pretty. And so there's nothing bad or evil that's going to happen from making mistakes, only that you'll learn something, what you love and maybe what you don't love. Let's do a smaller flower here. Easy little swoop there. But can you imagine learning anything if you didn't try and fail? If you're not failing, it means you're not trying something. So that's what I just want to encourage you guys in your watercolor journey. You know, these things are things to consider, whether or not you do them, and if you want to keep doing them or not, it's up to you. But I've found that these things are really detrimental to our progress. All right, we have some pretty flowers here. Let me grab some yellow, a little side facing here too. Okay, so, and we can add some leaves if we want. We can add some stems, but if you want to, you can go ahead and fill up the entire space. If you want to do like me, you can kind of go right up to the tape, or you can do more or less. We're going to dry these, and then we'll continue with our discussion and our painting. Okay, now that everything is dry, we take the same larger brush. We're just going to take more concentrated versions of what we have. But actually before that, we're going to do our shadows, but before that, we're going to do some green. You look at my green. I was just painting a landscape, and shoot, I'm kind of running low, but that's okay. I've got more tubes, and we'll fill them up later. So I'm just going to do these cute little, again, swoopy little marks for these beautiful stems. That's the name. And I'm doing this on purpose. I want them to show in between everything. I just think it's kind of fun. And yeah, and then if you add leaves and such, you can add those in between or however you'd like. So let's go ahead and do the shadows. I'm going to still stick with this. I'm going to teach you how to do this large one, and then you can kind of just get to it and sort of know what you're doing, I feel like, at least with practicing. Yellow here, I've got some yellow ochre. You can use some brown if you don't have anything else. What we're doing is we're making a darker version, so more paint, less water, darker version than what we have here. And I don't want to go super intense. I'm making these really light and billowy. So I'm going to dab my brush, and then I'm just going to, with the side of the brush, dab it. I don't want to pedal. I'm going to just kind of press down and make some thicker and thinner marks. And I'm trying to just be a little asymmetrical, okay? My brain wants to make everything the same and matchy, but that is not, it's just not attractive to the eye, apparently. So we're trying to do things a little bit asymmetrically, and it can be hard to do. So not everything has to match. This side gets a shadow, then that side gets a shadow, right? Our brain wants to do that, but we're gonna try to avoid that. So now I've got an orangey pink version here. It's less transparent, so you can't see through it as much as the first original paint. It's got more paint to water, than it did before. Same type of thing, just pressing down, light brush strokes. If you don't want them pointy, just use the side of the brush. I don't really like them pointy. And then you're just playing to see what you like when it comes to these beautiful centers, or maybe you do something, little dots or dashes on the edges of the petals too. Just kind of, it's up to you. And how much you want to add or how little, it's up to you. So, you know, I feel like the next thing I wanted to mention, number 3, is that you shouldn't wish you had fancy supplies. So I was very much on a budget when I started watercolor painting the first few years, and before I was making any money teaching online, I had to come up with my own, supply or budget. I wasn't actually working at all. I was homeschooling the kids, and so we had one very small income, and so I saved up. But I was worried and wanting the nice supplies. So you can save up, but I want you guys to focus on what you have, because if you're thinking, okay, when you make a painting and you're already disappointed because it might not look like the artist's version, and you're like, how in the world did they do that? Then you're like, it's the supplies, and that's why. So now you're upset that it didn't turn out the way you wanted it. And now you're also upset that you don't have the right supplies to get it to look exactly like the other one. Get that narrative out of your head. It's only causing you pain and discomfort and frustration, and it's certainly not serving you in terms of improving your watercolor, because those thoughts just discourage. They don't encourage you to keep trying and do better. Does that make sense? So focus on what you got and set a budget. Okay, I'm going to purchase some new painting supplies at this point, or just one thing at a time, once a month, or whatever it is. And just accept that that is what you're doing and that it's okay. So otherwise, some people say, the artists say, you have to have all these gorgeous, expensive supplies, but focus on the muscle memory, focus on what you can learn and what you can do, and don't fight emotionally the things that you can't control at this time. They don't help. I hope that is making sense to you guys today. So if you want to remove some puddles, you can take a clean, damp brush and you can just literally take off some paint. Isn't that fun? Just remove it. Okay, how are we doing? Take a breath. If you are feeling distressed in any way, because I don't want you to feel distressed, I'm going to make these a little bit darker just because I can. These side facing, I feel like, are so easy. I don't know, they're easy for me. And if this feels awkward, you can tilt your paper. I'm giving you the permission. Sometimes we just need to be told it's okay to do things. But you know what? It is your painting. I say this all the time. So you really can do what you want with it. Okay, so our shadows are done. Let's go ahead and dry this and continue our conversation. Now that everything is dry, if you want to take your brush and start putting in some leaves, you certainly can, or do your centers. I am going to add in some leaves with my large brush still. Still loving this thing. I use it for so much. And within this, just think about where you'd like to put some green. You can just do some tiny little marks like that, and then you can take the tip and just thin little marks. Add in some stems. And let's see, okay. And then so as you're doing this with me, you can use the brush, just press down with the belly and lift off, and you can connect things with a stem later too. And it's gonna look more realistic, but that's a fun way to make a leaf, just like this. Press down with the belly, press down, kind of lift up, and then another one, and it's off the page, and I think it's gonna look lovely. So the fourth thing, as I'm continuing to do this and just, putting on these really easy peasy, carefree marks, is to stop comparing your progress to professionals, okay? And it's really tough not to do it. It's tough not to do it. We have on Instagram, we have all these things that people are sharing, and it's just very easy just to look through and be like, oh, I don't like this that I'm doing, but look at how amazing that person is doing. Going through there, scrolling through, if you have a friend who's an artist, very easy to just kind of compare yourself to them as well. You don't know people's experience. You don't know the flops that they've created. You guys don't know that today, before this, I had to paint my landscape tutorial twice that I did for YouTube because I didn't like how it turned out. I thought it was absolutely ugly, and I was like, I cannot teach them this. And it was because I had to figure out what I did that didn't make the perspective look right to me. It just looked off. It didn't look realistic enough, at least the placement. But I was like, I have my standards, but I'm also comparing myself to other people. So I'm trying to tell you, don't compare yourself to other people. I slip up sometimes. And also, if you're comparing yourself to me, if you ever do that, which I still have so much to learn, you shouldn't, because I also make mistakes, and I also leave a painting sometimes feeling defeated, okay? That happened to me today. And should I have left it and just been like, well, this is how it is, you know, or did I need to redo it? So I redid it because I want to present my best work to you so that you guys can learn from that and present your best work based on whatever I'm teaching you. I'm certainly not, I don't really feel like an expert. I'm just teaching you guys what I know. And I learn from other people things that I don't know. So anyway, we all just have struggles and difficulties, and that was one of mine today. So don't compare yourself to other people. You don't need that. Compare yourself to yourself and how far you've come and the progress you've made, and you're really going to be proud of yourself. You want to encourage yourself, okay? Don't be discouraging. Just saying. And I have the last thing, which I'm going to show you in a second or tell you, but please take a pause before we do our centers. Can you just go over to the like button? If you like the video, go ahead and click it. Like that video right now before you forget. It really helps out the channel. It tells the algorithm we're having a great time over here, and I appreciate that so very much. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and so you won't miss out on the videos in the future. All right, now that we're done liking the video, let's get back to it. So, little stippling, some dots, some yellow, yellow, and then we're going to go around with some brown too. This one needs some yellow. And this one needs some yellow. I always feel like I forget somebody. Also, I think we need some green over here. So just a few of these little boops. I don't know what that is, but little sprigs of things. And I am going to take my brush at this point and grab some more of my sap green and just fill in some of those white spaces because I do like a tight bouquet where there's lots of foliage in the middle and all that good stuff. But you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. It's up to you. Alrighty, now we're going to take that small 6 round and we're going to grab some green. My green options are pretty thin right now, pretty slim. I'm going to take some concentrated green though. I need to refill those, and I will. It's a good reminder. And I'm just going to stipple here, but I said I was going to do brown. I'll do green for some. And I'll do brown for some. How about that? How about that? How about them apples? A little bit of extra green here. And we'll get some brown. Scrub my brush. It makes such amazing sounds. Oh my goodness. I do have to talk about the last one. I got to tell you. So what is the last thing, the harmful habit that I want to help you stop doing? So it's basically just painting on one side of the paper. I know that sounds weird, but my encouragement is, as we're stippling the brown, is to paint on both sides of the paper, because there's a bunch of you out here I know that are just worried about wasting paper, worried about wasting supplies. But if you create a painting on one side and you don't like it, well, why throw out that paper? Go ahead and practice on the other side. It's not like you're entering that into some competition, right? So it's a fully viable piece of paper that's going to help you in your learning progress, and use it. Don't throw it away. It's really going to help you feel so much better about your painting experience, especially if you paint something on one side that you didn't love. Take some green, by the way. You can also, here's the other bit of advice within the 5 things, is that you can throw away your mistakes, okay? What can you learn from them? Do what I'm doing right now, a little bit at the back of the flower. What can you learn from your mistakes so that you can repeat the things that you did like, but you know, if it's a mistake, the things that you didn't like, don't do it again, or try not to. Try to avoid it. You know, it's all a journey of growth and learning, and you need to be kind to yourself, because at the end of the day, you can't guarantee that others will be kind to you, especially with your painting, and especially if you've got some art snobs around that are just like, even if they don't do art, sometimes people just have, sometimes, a lot of the time, we're just darkening up some greens here. People just have these very specific ideas of what they think needs to happen, even if they don't even do art. So don't do that. Remind yourself you're a beginner in this area, you're learning something new, and give yourself encouragement, or else you're going to give up. So painting on the back side of the paper, that was the whole point of this. Allow yourself to make the mistakes. You can learn and grow and you move on. Oh, we need a little bit of a stem here. Boop. Okay, a little bit of splatter and we're done, you guys. I like the centers of those. That really made those flowers so happy and fun. All right, some yellow paint. Just gonna tap my brush around. A little bit of extra magic right here. We've gotta take off the tape. Whoops, I guess that was the wrong piece. Here we go. We're removing this one, and then we're removing this one. Whee! This is the last page of this block of paper. Pretty exciting. I like the meet-in blocks of paper. I like blocks of paper in general because it keeps everything flat while you're painting. It's not going to just warp and get all weird and stuff because it is glued down on all sides except one little bit where you can then peel it off the block. Anyway, this is our painting. I hope this was fun for you today. Oh man, I just hope you had such a great time as I am remembering something really quickly. Hopefully you didn't notice before me. Sometimes this happens, but I wouldn't want this lady to feel left out. So a little bit of an extra there. And if you are like me, that I am not ADHD, but sometimes I have those moments, well, just say a little prayer for me. I'm gonna get it figured out. So there we go, guys. Actually, this is it. We are done. So today we did talk about perfectionism as one of those 5 things, and reminding myself that sometimes I wear clothes that are stained and that's okay is just a fact and a reality of life. And today I wanted to encourage you guys in several ways. First of all, I may have a watercolor class that's free coming up, and I do those on Mondays. If there is one this week, we'll check the link below because it will be there. And also, big announcement, my watercolor Craftimo brush collection is launching this coming Friday on the 18th. So just make sure to click the link below to be on the wait list just for notifications as to when we are launching and the time and all that stuff. I'm so excited. And also I do have my watercolor retreat coming up in October in Italy. So I have some spots available if you'd like to join us, linked below as well. Thank you so much for being here, for watching this tutorial and hopefully painting with me. And if you don't know what to watch next, click the link right here. This video will be all about painting and how to stop being perfect. All right, guys, until the next tutorial, I'll see you later. Happy painting and happy mental health.